is about. I'm a black man trying not to get caught. I'm just trying to solve the puzzle like a jigsaw. You know it's a big world, so easy to get lost. I'm just trying to solve the puzzle like a jigsaw.
What's going on, blacks and everybody in between? I am Josh Rogers.
I am Brian Hare.
And we are here for another episode of your favorite podcast, the Jigsaw Podcast. It is the show where we talk about how we put the puzzle pieces together. But in particular, we talk about the praises, the perils, the productivity, and the pump circumstances of being black millennials just trying to figure this thing called life out. Brian.
Joshua.
Worship is what I see on your shirt.
What about?
And if I know that shirt, I know it says worship, grind, sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
Is that what you've been doing? How are you?
Nigga, I have
been worshiping, grinding, sleeping, and repeating?
I've been worshiping. The grind I want to do, I ain't been doing. I've been working though.
The grind you want to do, you ain't been doing.
Listen,
you care to share?
I don't see nothing wrong.
Not Robert. Not Robert.
I know. I'm
not
sorry.
Bobby.
No, Roberto. That man from Chicago. No, I'm good. I've been working. I literally Sunday I had to preach at a church.
Okay.
Then immediately went out of town for work.
Okay.
Had an early flight yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got a nap yesterday because
look at that.
Usually I try not to sleep at, I try to work, but I took a nap. And then it's another day. Like literally, I'm sorry. I went out of town on Sunday, came back yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like days are just blending at this point. I think I'm supposed to go out of town for work again tomorrow, but the weather out here is crazy. So I don't know what that's going to look like. So I'm trying to postpone my trip to Friday and Saturday. And then it's just a continuous cycle of,
I know it happens. It be like that because, I start back travel today. Actually, if you listen to this when it drops yesterday, and I'm on my second leg of my North American tour. That's what I'm calling it. Because this round is going to include some Canadian trips and
oh my God,
things like that. So, but yeah, life be lifing in that way, and we do the best we can with what we got. We use what we got, to get what we need. Ain't that what Ronnie said?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go. I'm Mariah Carey. So I'm gonna do the best I can what I got.
No. I want to reference a real black classic. Players Club. Yeah.
That is a movie.
Shout out to Robin and JB. Because I had no business watching the Players Club at the age that I watched it.
Oh, how were you watching?
Let me see what I watched it when it came out. What? I feel like I went to the drive-thru. We used to be a drive-thru family.
Yeah, there's no way.
It was a drive-thru out there in the Westwood area of Memphis. Came out in 98, so I was 9.
No reason.
No reason I should have been watching titties and booty flying. And feeling awkward because it's on the screen and we in this car together, like eating this KFC. My mama done snuck in the back seat because she went by. Say it's the drive-thru. I ain't buying no concessions.
It's wild, yeah.
I saw Kings of Company when it came out at the drive-thru, not really knowing what to laugh at. Because some of it I didn't get, and the few things I did comprehend, I didn't want to laugh and let my parents know that I understood.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
But I will say, shout out to my parents for also doing a really good job of allowing me to watch those things, but still creating a space to where I did not become immoral.
Yeah.
I'll say that way. Because it didn't influence me to be out here and go find some strippers and make love to them. It was just, it was like it was a lot of balance.
Yeah, it was
I think they did. Gen X parents need to be studied in it. They were hard on us, but they also allowed.
Yeah.
So the thing, staying at home by ourselves. Got a key to the house at 10. Like
They gave us freedom, but they were also strict. If
they
that
were
made any
also
sense.
strict. Yeah, it was a very
weird time.
interesting. It was a very interesting thing.
And then also, I was a homebody, and my mom would be like, "You need to go outside. Like, you need to go hang out with people. Like where are your friends?" I was like, "I have friends, but I just want to be at home all the time." And she'd be like, "But you need to leave the house. Like, what are you doing?" Like, 'cause she'd be like worried, because my older brother, who's a year apart, same day, he was always in the streets. Like, he was
I love that y'all are hood twins. Like that blesses me so.
But he was always out there, like, just life at the party. I was like, I just want to be home, watch TV, and she'd be worried. But I'm like, but like, shouldn't you want me to be at home? Like, what is it?
You know what has to kind of suck though? I would probably be still processing therapy. I'm getting ready to celebrate my 1-year-old birthday party. And here this little Negro comes, busting up out the womb. You couldn't stay 1 or 2 more days. Like, let me get my party out, Brian.
Listen,
let me have my cake and ice cream, Brian.
And it's funny because, like,
or my churros and whipped cream. Yes, since y'all was in California, whatever it was.
True. I do love a good churro.
Churros are great.
I love churros.
Churros
you can go places and they have just churros. Like, it's not even like a thing. It's a staple. It's like, I'm gonna buy me a churro.
Churros are so good. And I had my first one in Spain. They weren't Mexican churros, but nevertheless.
A churro.
Real quick.
Yeah.
There's this thing I've been seeing on TikTok. And I don't know how I got on this side of TikTok. But I know what they mean. But I want you to tell the people what it means. Because you would know more than me.
All right.
Mexican Jordans.
Oh, yeah. Mexican Jordans are like they're not the Jordans, the 1 through 20 somethings that, they're not the 1, the 2s, the 3. It's like Jumpman Jordans. Like, it's the Jordans that aren't like, they're Jordans.
Yeah, they're Jordans.
But they're not.
But they're not. I
Jordans.
say 1 through 12.
Yeah, they're low not.
Key. Anything after 12 is kind of like.
Yeah, like they Jordans. They have the Jordan logo.
Sure.
But they're not Jordans.
And the thing is, they cost about as much. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, they be buying like the different, like the crossover Jordans. Like, if it ain't one of the ones, if it ain't numbered, it's not a Jordan. And it's funny because I remember being in high school. My friends. He's actually, it's funny in hindsight. Well, it's funny now because he's now a sneaker guru. Like, that's what he writes for sneaker magazines, and they send him like sneakers and all that kind of stuff. But in high school, he bought some Jordans, but they weren't Jordans. They were like they were Jordans, but they weren't like the numbers. And we roasted the hell out of him for that. We were like, those aren't Jordans, and he was like, but they're Jordan. We're like, they're not Jordans, bro. Like, and it's funny, like now from that day forward, he understood like what Jordans were and what the other Jordans were. So now he's like this amazing shoe columnist and sneakerhead and all that kind of stuff. So if it hadn't been for him buying those Jordans that weren't really Jordans, maybe he never would have been the sneaker guru columnist that he is today.
You created his villain origin story with them.
We did.
Y'all did.
Yeah. And thank God for him.
Are the Mexican Jordans likened into like black forces?
No.
It's like they're forces, but
black forces have a different mind. Black forces are like you're as a different context, like you're a grimy nigga if you wear black forces. Like,
I think any force
you're up to no good.
True. Very true. Or you ready to like you don't care about anything.
Nothing.
But I also would suggest that any pair of Air Force Ones that aren't cocaine white, like, it's kind of like, what are we doing? Why do you have multicolored forces? Like, I know they make them in red and white and blue and white or whatever, but why do you have those?
Why do you have I don't like Air Force Ones.
I haven't worn Air Force Ones since Nelly told us to stomp in them.
Yeah,
that's when I had Air Force Ones.
Listen,
when Cordell told us to stomp in our Air Force Ones.
Listen, Air Force chokehold. The world was wearing Air Force Ones.
I had them. Now, in the today of things, I think there are so many other classic white sneakers that you could wear. Like, I love maybe it might be my dad era. I love a New Balance 550. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Classic white for me. I like my off-white Chucks, but only if they're the Garcon collaboration. I don't like the regular All Stars. Leave that for the Julius Irvins of the NBA. Give me the Garcon collab, the ones you have to buy at Nordstrom's. Them the ones I like. A kill shot.
Yeah, I love a kill shot.
A kill shot. A white Jordan 1 or Retro 4.
Yeah.
Right? I feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the Air Force Ones are so clunky and
it's just
boxy, and I ain't hating if you wear it. I just feel like there's so many other better options.
Like apparently now the kids wear them. Like it's a big hit for the kids. But
Josh has gone through 3 pair.
But the kids don't want them to be fresh white. They want them to be all like beat up and
not in my house.
Okay.
Josh tries that, and I'd be like, throw them shoes in the garbage, and we buy him another pair. Like, because when we were growing up,
not buying it, you just flex on us. You just throw the shoes away and just buy another pair. Okay, just
because when we was growing up,
pour the champagne on us.
Because when we was growing up, my mama didn't just buy us another, but when them choices got beat up, like we was like, I'm putting these to the side until Christmas or until
these
whenever.
Now.
Yeah, it's like
we wear these in the yard.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. You said something earlier.
Yes.
You said my brother couldn't celebrate his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of birthday celebrations,
you
just celebrated your birthday.
My God.
A milestone. I think we talked about it last week that you were going to celebrate, but this we actually happened. So
it happened.
I'm gonna give you some time to how did you celebrate your birthday?
Sure.
And then also some thoughts on what it's like to be 35, milestone 35.
35.
And so just, share some things.
Can I start by saying that when I turned 35, my child called me middle age? He was like, well, considering he's too smart. Because he was like, considering the average age is 70, you're technically middle age. And I was like,
oof. Okay. Well,
get out of my face. Like, do you not love me? Like, why would you say that? That means your granddaddy got like 9 more years when he fly up out of here, if that's according to his logic. Nevertheless, 35, man. So, how did I celebrate? How do I feel? I think that is so, it's a lot. Okay. So how do I feel? I feel great.
Yeah.
Like I didn't wake up and anything was hurting. I attribute that to me staying fairly active.
Yeah.
My back does hurt sometimes. I think I got whatever my dad got to have his back hurt all the time. I think I've inherited some of that. Because I'm way too active to be feeling JB's pain. So I think that might be something in these Rogers bones. But nevertheless, no, I feel good, man. I don't know that anything drastic has changed since 35 per se. I already had like 3-4 gray hairs in my beard and stuff. And I ain't got one in my hair yet. I ain't got one in no other regions. Well, but I keep that so maintained. I don't know that I would ever see them come anyway. But yeah, nothing has changed per se. I don't feel like I've been in it long enough to feel older, but I feel good. Not to be churchy and deep. You know what I'm saying? I got high school classmates who dead, right? I got college classmates who flew up out of here, and just 35-year-old peers who I've seen across the interwebs and stuff who didn't make it, right? Or before 35, right? So grateful for life in that way. How did I celebrate? So originally I wanted to do like this toast to life party. Big 35 celebration, all black party. I was going to be in red, no death row. But that's what it was going to be. I didn't plan it. Like I didn't take the time to like sit and do it. Like I was talking about it, I was hype about it, but I didn't do it. So part of me was like, I'm a all or nothing kind of guy. Like I want what I want and I don't want what I don't want. And so because I didn't do that initially, I was like, I ain't got to do nothing because that's what I wanted to do. So if it ain't that, it ain't that, right? But Ash was adamant about celebrating, so we decided to celebrate. Then I told her like, don't do that. And then she hit me up Friday and was like, so we're still going to do something. I just need your permission. Cause she know me at 25, she did that. And I went behind her and texted people myself and said, don't show up cause I won't be there. So I was like, let me not do this. Let me not do this. So we end up going to this Barcelona. And it's a top Spanish tapas restaurant. Tapas restaurant and wine bar. Great food. Me and Ashley have been there before on date nights and stuff like that. And typically we just order tapas, right? Like you do what you do. And most times we've ordered tapas. We've spent upwards of like $60-$70. depending on the amount of food we get, and then get a glass of wine or something. But our waitress so graciously said, "Hey, for this size party, it was 11 of us.
Yeah.
She was like, you should do like a curated tasting menu." We was like, tell us more.
Yeah.
So she was like, me and the chef will, decide a few options, and then we'll let you look over. You can make changes. She said, but it's only $45 a person, or $55 a person. So we was like, it's only $10. What's the difference? She was like, well, it depends on how hungry you are. Are you regular hungry, or are you hungry? So for Black people, that's different.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a white woman saying regular hungry, and I'm just like, so in my brain, I'm like, maybe 55, because little girls are like, she might eat a few bites and be done. I ain't really ate all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I understand tapas literally means small plates.
Yeah.
And she was like, it'll be 2 to 3 of each. And I'm just like, for like calamari, that's gonna be gone. So I'm thinking in my brain, like, what? So we end up going $45. I think we went the lower one because most people was like, I'm regular hungry. And bro, everything was phenomenal. Maybe 2 things.
Yeah.
Right. There was like these ham and cheese balls that was like the meatballs, in my opinion, were good. I think because we are Black, American Black, we always associate meatballs to baby showers.
Yeah.
And so those Spanish meatballs just didn't hit the same. They weren't nasty, but they weren't the meatballs that we're used to. And I think it was something else that people were like, But anyway, that paella though.
Yeah.
For me, those spicy beef empanadas, they're the best ones I've had in Atlanta. Everything was just so good. I tried a vermouth wine. Really great. Gonna have to add that to my collection. But it was I felt really elevated. It felt real grown dinner party. Like it wasn't like, it was it turned into a legit curated
experience
menu, 5-course experience.
We went from
charcuterie board to salads to like it was all top of it. It felt like appetizers to your meats, and then veggies, and then a big paella, and then olive oil cake, which was interesting. It tasted like greasy pound cake.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was like really greasy. And then we had chocolate cake, which we asked for cheesecake, but they brought chocolate cake. We had already been there for a while, so it was like,
time to go.
Just let it happen. But yeah, for $45 though, a person, I don't think you can beat that. So while as a couple, you may have spent $60, $70 just together, but I think for the experience, right, that $90 per couple or $100 per couple was well worth it. I wouldn't mind going there again just with another big group, just to kind of have that full kind of experience again. Because me and Ashley love tapas, so that's always a plus. And the experience was just great. There was a little bit of lag time that we could have done without, but I don't think that was the fault of our waitress. I think it was the kitchen that was busy. They're always busy. I've never been when it hasn't been busy. But it was cool. And the only other thing I'll say is that before, like, because I still wasn't feeling going out, but I told my barber when I was in the chair, I was like, if I give me a good fit, that'll change my mood. So I went to Atlantic Station and I saw these ivory pans. I said, oh, I like these. I've been looking for some ivory pans. And I went into Dillard's and I saw that shirt. I was like, oh, this match. And this is where my attitude almost came in. I was like, I ain't got no shoes to pull this together for real.
My God.
I got some shoes, but it wouldn't they wouldn't hit.
Yeah.
Bro, it was a Nike store next door. The Atlantic Station next door.
Yeah.
I saw some orange and white dunks. I was like, okay, I don't really want no. Went to the clearance wall. The orange and white kill shots. I was like, on the clearance, the only 10.5 left.
Look at God.
And it was an extra 25% off.
Look at God.
I was like, God, you wanted me to celebrate because you put this fit together. Because all the pieces, like I've actually never seen orange and white kill shots.
Nah, me either.
Like I've never, and so the fact that they was just sitting there, because in my brain I was like, I wanted a white or a cream based shoe with like a pop of green or a pop of orange.
Yeah.
And my brain went to Gucci.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, I ain't finna drop money on no Gucci sneaker. And I'm like, but what can I get that'll still give me that vibe? And bro, that shoe it was like, it lined up. I was like, happy birthday to me. So yeah.
All right.
It was cool, man. And y'all were there. My people were there. We celebrated, felt loved on. And then the actual day, I didn't take off work because I'm developing this training. So I'm traveling. So I'm developing. It's like a mini conference. So it's a lot going into it. So I couldn't take off Monday.
Yeah.
I had so much I needed to finish. But yeah, I relaxed and chill after I was done work. Once I was done working, though, I shut down. And that's 35. So cheers to more and bigger and livelier and all the things.
Do you have like a theme or anything for?
So I did have my birthday therapy session, and we didn't go through themes. Particularly, we talked about I'll share. We talked about safe spaces versus familiar spaces
Mm.
and navigate. And maybe that because she challenged me to lean more into spaces where I feel there's safety
Mm-hmm.
and not just what feels familiar. So maybe that's the theme of 35 unofficially is to prioritize safety.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. All right, well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
If y'all want to send some money, what's your cash app? Just in case somebody want to
I
send some
don't
money.
cash out because people scam.
They do scam. You're right.
But if you want to Zelle me, you can DM me and I'll send you my number
Mhm.
for the Zelle, or I
Yeah.
will change it to my email address because I don't want you to have my number. And we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Get this
But yeah,
money.
get this. If you want to, I'll never turn down that shmoney. Never turn down that shmoney. That Skrilla, as Uncle Clipper said at P Valley.
Listen to that paper. All the things. All right. Well, again, happy birthday. I'm glad you had a great time. Hope glad you felt loved and appreciated by your family and your friends and loved ones. That's always important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. Song of the week. You ready?
I'm ready. Sing to me.
I'm not gonna sing to you, but
Okay.
since it's your birthday, right? It's kind of a birthday gift, but also within theme to the episode.
Okay.
Okay, so
I don't know how that will align.
You'll know when
Okay.
you hear the song, it's gonna
Okay.
align.
Okay.
It's gonna align. Okay, let me know you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Feel free to sing along with me and KC tonight. KC.
This is dumb. But this is great.
Ooh, baby, baby, baby.
It's within theme.
And it's very much in
It's not the one from the show, but it's the song.
Ooh, yeah. No. Oh, ooh, yes.
I'll get you the song, brothers.
Jojo. I told you Jojo just be out there singing. He just be.
Lately I've had the strangest feeling.
Oh, Jodeci.
With no vivid reason here to find. But yet the thought of losing you've been hanging
I hate that they got on that stuff, man. Cause they can sing.
They could sing. You know I love me some Casey Haley.
Far more frequently you're wearing perfume.
And he was churchy back then, but he wasn't as churchy.
He got to lean on church now because that throat gone.
Oh yeah.
So he got to just holler and growl.
But when I ask, will you be coming back?
I'm gonna stop it. Cause I can go all day.
Casey, Jojo.
Ooh yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that was lately live MTV Unplugged.
To cry.
Yeah,
So good.
yeah. It's gonna make sense in our living room discussion. But again, for your
Baby,
birthday,
won't you just stay?
That's
You
good.
got me on a Jodeci kick. For a little while. Woo!
Hey, listen, they got it. They got the hits.
Woo, don't they? You know what? Speaking of music, real
Yeah.
quick, I have personally rediscovered D'Angelo's Brown Sugar. You know, I don't know why I call it rediscovered, but I haven't like sat and listened to the album intentionally in a while. And I played that thing top to bottom from Brown Sugar all the way to Higher.
Great.
I'll never forget the convocation we drove back to Atlanta.
And you and Lauren
And
were
y'all,
singing
and y'all
word
put
for
that
word.
thing on, and you was like full lyrics. I didn't
I was
skip
like,
one.
I was like, Josh knows you because you and Lauren both like lyrical. Y'all know lyrics. Y'all niggas were singing every single lyric, every ad lib, every. I was in awe because I'm a D'Angelo fan, but I don't know lyrics. But I said it was another level of okay, I know Josh because you knew every single song.
When I tell you,
every lyric.
my parents played that thing, and that is so good.
It's a good album, man.
Are you deeply familiar with the album? Like not lyrics, but know the songs.
Yeah, it's on my wall. It's
What's your favorite? What is your number one song off the album? Somebody responded to my IG story and told me theirs was I think I was singing Me and Those Dreamy Eyes Around. They was like, and that's the best song on the album. I was like,
But honestly, bro, but here's the thing though. It's I don't know if there's a bad answer.
True.
I like Cruising. I don't know. It's
because that's no longer Smokey song.
It's not. But I like Cruising.
This is great. I like Higher, and that's because I'm churchy.
But I also like
that organ interlude reverend.
I also like the curse word song.
Oh, Mother. Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's so aggressive because you're aggressive.
I am.
Are you bleeding so much? Why am I wearing handcuffs? The story. It's just like, Jesus,
also,
D'Angelo.
everything's gonna be all right. Like it's just I don't know. It's a no skip. It's a no skip.
It really is no skip. You get me? How do you maintain your cool? Woo! It seems your love breaks all the rules.
And I just looked it up to see how many songs were
it's
on
like
the
9
album.
or like something like that, right?
10 songs.
Yep.
Chris Brown, if you're listening,
that's all you need.
All you need is give us
solid
10 songs, and every song
slaps.
Goes. It's a good song. It's a good. We don't need a lot of music.
In my bones. Yeah. Is that this feeling that I got? Won't leave me alone.
Yeah, I just want to tell me. I was like, it's a short album, but 10 songs,
man,
10 solid songs, and you don't have to skip it. You can just press play. You can run it over and over all day if you want.
And just keep. Maybe I'll get my hair braided to the back and recreate that album cover for Halloween. Maybe that's what I'll do.
That would be dope. That would be dope though, for real.
That's what I'll do. Get my Beyonce on to recreate some album covers and stuff.
And it's what? So do you like Voodoo or Brown Sugar better?
I like Brown. People love Voodoo.
Voodoo's a critical.
I appreciate the critically acclaimed Voodoo. Mm-hmm. But Brown Sugar just does something to me that Voodoo doesn't.
Yeah.
And it could be also because I'm churchy that my spirit won't let me fully align with no album called Voodoo. But Voodoo is a great album though. I ain't gonna hold you. It's an amazing album. I feel
like Brown Sugar was it. It sounds like the Brown Sugar. It's smooth.
It sounds like Brown Sugar.
Yeah, Brown Sugar. Like Brown Sugar, brown liquor, brown people.
It's black people. It's just
it feels like that.
Let me tell you about this girl, or maybe I shouldn't. I met her in Philly, and her name is Brown Sugar.
And see what?
See, we be making love constantly. That's why my eyes are the shade blood burgundy. I ain't getting no sleep with Miss Brown Sugar.
Skin is caramel.
But the cocoa eyes even got a big sister by the name of chocolate. Brown Sugar, baby. I get high off your love.
Don't know how to be.
I want some of your Brown Sugar.
Song.
Now, I will say he did give us the first 2-man introduction in R&B song.
He did.
He said, I'm usually down for my menage a trois, but I think I'm going to hit it solo. Hope my niggas don't mind. I was like, wait a minute. What are you saying, D'Angelo?
What are you saying?
Jesus
what are you
Christ.
saying, brother?
How often did y'all do that? What? Lyric, but it's still a song.
It's a song. And also, let's go back to the fact of like D'Angelo, the artist. He's a churchy. He's us. He's us.
No, he's us. That's why I just got to go back to Higher just so you can see how churchy this man is.
Right.
Like this is the intro to that song.
Yeah.
It sounds like devotion.
That's church. Yeah. That sounds like the intro to Religious for Musical Soul Child album. That organ.
Bro, I would venture to say this album's pretty perfect.
Oh, this evening. That's what it sounds like. Tanks slowly.
Did he sample it?
I don't know if he sampled it, but it sounds so that intro. It's not the so Religious sounds like that intro, but also Tank slowly.
Hold on, let's do it.
Come on, Jay.
It might be an interpolation.
Yeah.
Oh, that is. Hold a
Yeah.
minute. That is an interpolation.
Yeah.
Ah, ooh, ooh, ooh. That's definitely an interpolation. Now you said, and music's what? Religious?
Religious, yeah. That's my favorite song of all time. That because it's so churchy and it's sexy. Is that the one?
Yes, baby. Won't you let me tell you how
It's not the same, but it.
But it's a churchy intro.
Yeah.
Tank definitely did an interpolation of
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. But I love churchy R&B.
That's the best R&B.
Yeah. But the best R&B artists are churchy kids, like the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aretha.
Yeah.
All the old school folk came from the church.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's these new heathens.
That's
why the arm. We need a part 2.
Mhm.
We talked about why people ain't begging no more.
Mhm.
Why church babies ain't leaving their religion no more. Y'all need to go secular. Y'all need to go get this money.
We need to listen
and give us some good R&B music.
because it ain't the same.
It ain't the same.
The
When you
church
start,
kids
you got to go from sacred to secular, right? You got to do them. You got to do what Michelle Williams did. I think she's the last of a dying breed.
Listen,
She went into Destiny Child and she was one of the last ones. Everybody else wants to go straight into secular music. You need you gotta acknowledge the source of your gift 1st.
You need a firm foundation.
That's why your music ain't blessed.
Yeah.
That's Brian. That's why.
That's it.
R&B ain't like that. They lost the foundation. And the ones who still got it, them the ones that are like they're critically acclaimed, but they're not getting because like Ari.
Yeah.
That vibrato was meant for the church.
But
I love me some Shea Butter Baby.
Church.
Duran. I know Duran, but it's churchy.
Gotta be.
Even Frida talks about how she grew up in the church.
but you can that music you can feel it different. Like even Ari talking about spitting on it. Her and Jasmine Sullivan talking about spitting and sitting on it. And you got to lift your hands and just be like, whoo.
Wait a minute. I got a perfect example to show Ari's churchiness.
It'd be anointed.
Wait a minute. And we can leave up out of here, Brian. I blame all this on you every time.
It's my fault. That's okay. It's okay. Music is the thing that kind of gets us.
Okay. This like just listen to this intro. It's just that part right there. She
so
said
churchy.
nothing else.
Just churchy.
She said nothing else.
Sound like a Baptist deacon.
She came straight out the gate with it. When I first heard this album, that's her latest album. When I first heard this song on the album, bro, I was like, "Oh, this is my favorite song."
Churchy.
The intro.
Churchy.
Boom, boom. Sing, girl.
Like a gospel choir in the 90s.
Oh.
What happened to community choirs? They don't exist no more.
Because we don't have no communities.
Ooh, that's a take. Let's move on because we can stay here forever.
So what was the official song of the week?
This song was Lately by Jodeci from the MTV Unplugged.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right. So with that being said, let's do an accepted Brian.
Yep.
We're heading to the Blessed Reports about some Black excellence.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the Blessed Report where we shout out Black folks doing great Black things. Josh and I don't just celebrate and support Black businesses during Black History Month and Juneteenth. We celebrate Black businesses 365, 24/7. And if you have a Black business or you know somebody that has a Black business, feel free to let us know. Shoot us a DM, send us an email, and we will, if it makes sense, we will bless up the Black business. This week, we have Partake Foods and Denise Woodard. Partake Foods is founded by a millennial mom, Denise Woodard. She is biracial, but she Black. Okay. She's Asian and Black, but she Black.
Shout out Kamala.
She Black. Okay. So after her daughter was diagnosed with food allergies, Denise launched a line of allergy-friendly, gluten-free, and vegan snacks which are now available at all the places like the Targets and the Whole
Mhm.
Foods, the places that we love to go. All offerings are certified gluten free, non GMO. They are vegan and are free of the top 9 allergens: wheat, tree nuts, peanuts, milk, eggs, soy, fish, and sesame and shellfish. So they don't have any of those things. And actually, she's also shows, there are signs of blackness, right? In 2020, Denise founded the Black Futures in Food and Beverage mentorship program. It's an annual fellowship program that mentors HBCU students and helps them secure internships and jobs at the program's end. So we got a Black woman doing great Black things, giving back to her Black community, okay, and supporting Black colleges. So if you want to check her out, partakefoods.com, or on Instagram at Partake Foods, or go by your local Target or Whole Foods and get some Partake Food snacks. So bless up to Denise Woodard and Partake Foods.
All right, bless up. Partake in the partake.
Yeah, partake in the partake.
Partake in the partake.
Rest up. We don't have anybody on the list this week. What does that mean, Josh?
God stayed the hand because that death angel had been loose.
I mean,
I mean, out here searching,
listen, snatching.
knocking on. Listen, I don't think they was knocking on death's door, but he was knocking.
Listen,
We talked
answer.
about one of the people last week, Tito. I got
Yeah.
something. I got something to say to his sister in the greater conversation.
Oh,
But since we have nobody, and I'm gonna keep it classy,
Oh.
Miss Jackson. But
oh,
that thing got under my skin, and I got a
Oh.
part 2 for my brothers James and Fuhad. That's
mm-hmm.
why we don't play with white people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so with that being said, understood and accepted,
Mhm.
we have a great living room. I think y'all are gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a bit of nostalgia, and
Yeah.
I think it's good. Y'all gonna like it. So grab your snacks, grab your drinks, grab your water, grab whatever it is. It's fall. It is officially fall now.
It is. It
Um,
don't feel like it.
I'll save that note for bikers of greater. That's a third greater conversation. I got 3 of these things for y'all because I left y'all alone some with y'all musty selves, but but y'all be coming in the fall smelling the same way. So grab all your things, your pumpkin spice lattes, and meet us in the living room, and let's have this good conversation.
All right, let's do it.
It's about to make a change. Do it with some soul in the living.
All right, puzzle pieces. We are in the living room, and we are excited to have a conversation. A while back, I want to say about maybe a year ago, during February, we did something called the Love Letters, and we talked about Dwayne and Whitley and some other Black couples,
Issa and Lawrence.
and that we loved, Black couples that we loved, but we wanted to kind of dissect them and pick them apart to get past our love for them and kind of get to the nitty gritty to see if they were relationship goals, as some people will call them, to see if they were what they really were, right? And not just face value, but really break it down and see what they really were, and how they, resonate today, and go into that. So recently we've been seeing a lot of a sitcom rebooting. We've been seeing Black love, and it's been surrounded by the thought process of Martin and Gina in their relationship. Like I said, the rebooting of the people in this trailer regarding the potential rebooting of Martin, but from the vantage point of Pam trying to find love, which will be very interesting. Also seeing like some clips recently of just Martin and Gina, especially the first episode when they in the room. I mean, we'll talk about that in a second. But we wanted to kind of break down Martin and Gina, their relationship, their dynamics, the friend group dynamics, all the things that made their relationship what it was. So I'm gonna start out with I'm gonna go straight up. Was their relationship? People thought it was a great relationship, but now we're in 2024. I think the show aired in the early 90s, like 92, whatever. Was their relationship toxic?
It was. You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Okay. Um, So I'm just trying to see when it came out officially. 92. You're right.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's
it
30,
is
30 years ago.
over 30 years ago. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, one of the worst examples of black love in a black American sitcom television.
Hmm.
And it takes nothing away from Martin. Martin is in my top 5 favorite
Yeah.
black sitcoms of all
Yeah.
time. But if you look at the dynamic of Martin Lawrence and Gina Waters
Hmm.
as a couple, that
Hmm.
was nothing to aspire to.
Yeah.
Now, did that mean that it was all bad? Nah, not at
Mm.
all. Um, does it mean that in reality, I think the beauty of it is that it probably reflected reality of black couples,
Yeah.
particularly in the 90s. Like
Hmm.
you had, one character who was, a little bit more less polished
Mm.
and another that was more polished and things like
Hmm.
that. Two different backgrounds, right? Let me take that back. Well, let me know. I'm gonna take anything back. It is still one of the worst examples of black relationships that was on
Yeah.
television, but I don't think that it meant that it was nothing. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen in life, right? Like, but there was a lot of toxicity around it in the
Yeah.
sense that Martin had deep insecurities around um, what traditional masculinity meant, particularly around providing. So I
Hmm.
remember the episode when he found out Gina made more than him.
Yeah.
Like she didn't even want to say nothing.
Hmm.
He pulled it out of her and then
Yeah.
couldn't handle
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the moment where she got on, now she did start feeling herself when she like made a guest appearance on his show and
Hmm.
people started loving her more. But instead of him like really helping her navigate the space, like how he even quote unquote humbled her on live television or
Hmm.
radio, like it was some
Yeah.
interesting ways he
Yeah.
approached. And then I think when he got online one time to me, I don't be crying. I don't love her. Like that
Yeah.
episode when he did that, and then he had to face like so many things were really protecting his fragile ego.
Yeah.
Even the scene that you talk about, episode 1, where they
Episode
broke
1.
up, and he was like, "I don't need you. Get out,"
Step.
and just
Step.
it's
Step.
just so
Gigi,
many, yeah,
no.
so many,
Like.
and then even the point where she like almost demanded, which some women do, like we've been dating for a long time, brother.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
was like, "Will you marry me? Gee, like, are you happy now?" Like
Yeah.
all of the things. Like it was just like, bro, what? And I know some of it was what we call physical comedy,
Yeah.
which we see a lot of the Wayans do. So
Yeah.
like the disrespect to like her parents and stuff like that. Some of that was just physical comedy. So
Yeah.
I take that with a grain of salt.
Hmm.
But it was some of the dynamics around just how he treated Gina. It wasn't the best, right? And I think when Gina made those demands of him with the wanting to, because I think they broke up like twice on the show before.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then there was the whole, engagement situation. I don't know, like go almost juxtaposing it to Dwayne and Whitley. They were really young.
Yeah.
So, side note, when I went to Detroit this summer, we drove past that apartment building.
Okay.
And it looks far more affluent in person than it does from that snapshot.
Interesting.
I don't know. But yeah, like I don't know. And I think part of it too was the fact that they came from such opposite worlds. So like when
I was just going to say that the context.
like when
of the
Gina,
upbringing.
bought him the booty piece, that art sculpture piece and things like that. He was making jokes about it. From him like wanting to impress his friends with the big television coming out their savings account.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these, it was so many things that they're the opposite. And then here's another piece, and I'll throw it back to you. Like how he allowed his mom to disrespect Gina. Like allowed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think in some cases, like he felt like maybe she was trying to morph him into her dad. And I think Gina probably in some ways wanted to see Martin elevate. But on the flip side of that, I think like Beyonce even talks about upgrading you. Right. So I think not that I don't think it's every woman's job to change us, but I think a good partner does expose you to more and causes your palate. And I'm using that universally to expand. Right. But I think Martin took that out of context. And again, these are TV characters, but I think he took it out of context. And maybe Gina could have had a different approach. Who knows? Right. But overall, they were not relationship goals at all. While I think they were, one thing I will give them positively about their relationship though, they were a solid display of friendship.
Yeah.
Like you saw that very clearly. Like they liked each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they had fun with each other.
Yeah.
Even when he would put folk out the house, Gina would sometimes put folk out. You know what I'm saying? Like she
Yeah.
would, like her comedy. Like I think when she was J. Kyle,
Yeah.
you saw more of her comedic chops, but I think
Yeah.
a lot of that was honed on Martin. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
just even in that character, she had her own comedic time, and that was
And it
dope.
grew over time.
It grew over time. Yeah, except for that weird last season. But
Yeah.
you know,
But that goes to show how relationships are. Like you begin to morph into each other. You know what I'm saying? Like you begin to blend. So going back to the context of their upbringing.
Yeah.
Do we ever know what anything happened to Martin's dad?
We don't have any context about Martin's father. Was it even mentioned?
I don't know. So in my mind, I always put in the
My
context.
assumption is that she was a single mom.
Yeah, and even how close he is to his mom that she raised him. So we have two varying backgrounds. We have Martin raised in a single parent home, right? Doesn't probably know what a man is like, right? Toxic masculinity, all that kind of stuff. You have Gina, who grew up in an affluent household. I think the dad was a doctor, the mom is something, important, whatever. She grew up,
Hold on, do we know what her mama did? I know we know the daddy was.
I don't know what the mama did. I know
maybe
the
mama
dad
was a
doctor.
housewife.
Maybe.
Either way, that still speaks to the dynamic, right?
Yes, but the dynamic which means Gina had attention. She had I believe Gina went to college and had all the, so she went completely different lifestyle. If she had her own apartment, she had
it
her
was
own,
a lot bigger than Martin's. Even though she had a roommate, her apartment was much nicer.
Much bigger, much nicer. She made more money than Martin. Like even over time, he didn't start probably making more money until he started working in Hollywood and started doing all
but did he even still make? Because she kept going to VP and
she kept getting promotion after promotion. and we work in corporate, so we know when you get to certain. And I think in one episode she negotiated her contract. She did, so she was forced by herself. So they come from two different backgrounds. She was seemingly way more emotionally mature than Martin.
Overall.
Yeah, overall.
Yeah.
When it came down to issues, she wanted to talk about them. She wanted to resolve them. In most cases, she wasn't petty.
If I say she had her petty moments,
she had her petty
but
moments.
Most times
cases she was petty. She had a certain level of being level-headed. And to your point earlier, I don't blame her for wanting to be like calling into the car, be like, nigga, like we've been doing this, bro. We living together. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
She eventually moved out of her apartment.
Yeah.
And let's pause for a minute talking about upper mobility for women. Pam held down that apartment by herself.
Yeah. Pam
you know what I'm saying? Because they worked at the same firm. Yeah. She wasn't as successful as Gina. She didn't climb as high. But like when she moved out, Pam didn't like she went looking for another roommate. I think it was probably one of them cases, kind of like Kyle and Overton. We started together, but like in Living Single, based on what Kyle did, he didn't really need Overton after a while. It was more so probably like, you know what I'm saying? We friends. Why? But like, I just want to throw that out there about Pam too, and like to highlight that for Black women in the era.
But even think about this, like she instead of saying, Martin, let's go find our own place, or you live in my place because it's better and bigger, I'm going to move to your place, which is almost raggedy. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a nice place.
1 bedroom, super small.
Yeah, like so there were more times than not that she could
open concept, but not because that was trendy, but because it was so small.
Yeah, it was
back in the day. You walked in a room for your kitchen.
Yeah, yeah.
And Gina walked in a room for her kitchen. Remember? Yeah, it was a separate. Yeah,
separate. You had a hallway to multiple rooms. Like, so her building looked nicer. You know what I'm saying? There was no graffiti in the hall. Like, so there were more times than not that Gina, I don't want to say compromised. She dimmed her light. She conformed to Martin's wants and wishes and desires. Like, and this kind of, I don't like doing this, but this kind of goes to that, like how you go see on TikTok and social media. And I don't like this stereotype or this trope that is like Black women have to suffer through the struggle to love a Black man. And I hate it, but it seemed like she went through the struggle of dealing with this like Black man just to love him.
She loved him up.
She loved him up and like dealt with foolishness that like and mind you, I'm going so far, but she had options.
Oh yeah.
She had people in her level
Tanya Nicole, you love mama. That made me think about the exes.
She had the singer that what's the name? I don't know the name of the singer, but like wealthy singer.
Yeah.
So she had options that were bigger and better than Martin, but she was willing to love Martin through it. So I guess all that's. I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, but I also think it's something to say about the paths that you choose.
Yeah.
Right. And I know this may sound very elitist,
Yeah.
but when you like, for example, I met my wife in college. Right.
Mhm.
So while, we went two different paths in terms of like career paths, and we had different backgrounds too, there was a level of privileged leveling.
Yeah.
Because we were both, both undergraduate students that, like Martin was very homegrown, local radio disc jockey with one of the cheapest radio owners on earth, right?
Yeah.
Versus this woman on this more traditional, very corporate track and ladder. And I think in the beginning, it may have seemed equal because, again, when I first got out of college, fully college educated, one of the top HBCUs in the nation, all the, history and reputation that Morehouse has, and came out that joker still making I think my first job paid me $31,000 a year. Now, straight out of college with two roommates, I was doing okay.
Yeah.
But I also had a child on the way.
Yeah.
But think about that, though, making $31,000 a year, possibly with a very local DJ, possibly making a similar amount. But if your career doesn't have because this was the 90s, right? So we ain't got social media, we ain't got the trajectory for him wasn't as clear as it was for her.
Yeah.
Right. So even on a year-to-year basis, her cost of living raise, merit-based rate, 3%, 5%, every year she finna be 5% more earning than him. Versus Martin, you got to depend on sponsorship dollars, like all these different things dictate your salary, and it may or may not shift. And then as we saw, you ain't talking about promotion, overtime, all the stuff that can go into it. And we never saw Martin venture out and do like red carpets, and I think we saw him do one like ribbon cutting when Barnell Hill came, but that got overshadowed by Barnell Hill.
Yeah.
But we never saw Martin do more. Well, we saw Gina consistently grind. So I think to your point, she loved him up, but I think initially it was really even probably.
Yeah.
But I don't think we take into consideration what they, and we talking about the 90s, that corporate ladder wasn't like in the, like we today, we'd be like, whatever. But back then, they were very much still, I'm gonna work this job for 30, 40 years.
But you also knew what in 2 years it's gonna be this.
It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that.
Yeah.
And Gina was so good that like within the next 4 or 5 years, she was like her boss, Mr. Whitaker.
Yeah.
Like he needed Gina.
Yeah.
Because remember that time she did quit or something and she got laid off, and Martin was like he couldn't take it, and he went to negotiate on her behalf, and he was like, I give whatever she wants, just get Gina back.
Yeah.
And even though it was weird because there was some personal stuff going on, when they moved her to California, like think about today thing. When they offer you a new office, you run the LA office. Like
Gina was that girl.
She was that girl.
She was
and
that
even
girl.
when Martin got a better job, it was like he was on PBS.
Public broadcast, bro. Like
it was still public. It wasn't until like the very end
where he
finally made it. And again, there is merit to that. Like that journey, that grind, that hustle. But I think some of that dissonance that existed was that they were so opposite in their career pursuits and path. Now, I love the fact that we finally saw Martin want more after he left the radio. Like we saw him want more. He wanted, but I think part of that was Gina. Like my girl killing it. I want more too.
Yeah, with the Barnell Hill, I think the Barnell Hill. I don't know.
Barnell Hill too.
That showed him
what's
that something,
because Barnell Hill was at radio too. Right?
He said, how can I get to the yams? Like I want like he showed like, oh, Barnell Hill is an elevated version of me. I can do something more than the radio station. I can do more than whatever it was. So I feel like
chitlins are delicious.
Ooh. I had a lake outside. Fried.
No, catfish is delicious. That's the word.
The Barnell Hill episode
is good.
It's my favorite episode. It might be my favorite episode.
My favorite episode.
Which one?
Is that dang on Rottweiler when he was interrogated. Bro, when I tell you I laugh like I just saw for the first time. Every time he bring that stuff dog, and you see all of them break character at some point because it's just like, what?
It's funny because I've listened to Cole give the background story of that episode. They were supposed to have a real Rottweiler,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently they couldn't get one.
Mm-hmm.
And the person in the props or whatever was like, "Hey, I got this stuffed one," and then Martin was like, "Let's just do it. We gotta do." So he said the response was they thought they're gonna have a real Rottweiler, and then he comes out with this stuffed one, and he's just doing all the
shit. That thing was hilarious.
Great
Bro,
moments, man.
I see why people like try not to give Martin his flowers. It was so silly, but that stuff. Martin was funny, bro.
Hilarious.
It was funny. Like Living Single, I enjoy for a different reason, but Martin, it's just like funny. It's just funny.
It's funny. It's silly, but it's like because me and Lauren we get arguments over it because she likes comedy that makes sense. I don't need comedy that makes sense because I know it's far fetched to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
But stuff like that it's funny because
That's
it's
funny.
like it's so silly. It is
That's
so
funny.
unserious that it's funny.
That and Chilligan's Island. I know that may be a fan favorite.
Fighting,
him and Pam fighting that thing. That ain't no puppy, bro.
And it kept coming back. That was the funny thing.
And then you can clearly tell it's a stuffed animal as well. Like the graphics are so bad in the 90s.
But it was so funny, man. It's how they fight it. They just so we answered that. So we agreed the relationship was toxic.
Sure.
We could also give him context, and Martin was human. Upbringing does have some level of effect on the relationship, your emotional maturity, how you love things, how you see relationship and things of that nature.
Yeah.
One thing we did notice, it was a comedy. And oftentimes, and even in serious moments when Gina was trying to be serious, or even vice versa, right? They used humor and joke to kind of diffuse some tense situations.
Yeah.
In your relationship or just relationship in general, how important is it to have some level of laughter and be, like you said earlier, be friends in a relationship?
Bro, I think it's wildly important. I think in some regards you can have some different senses of humor, but I think there has to be a commonality of what you find joyful, right? So like, for example, Asha doesn't really do stand-up comedy at all. Like it's just not, it just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It don't speak to her in that way. Because I remember when we, some friends you introduced us to from the LA area, we all went over their rented home with the roommates. And we watched Seriously Funny or one of the Kevin Hart's. You remember this day?
I remember it.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, but I took the long way to get there.
Because you want to be messy. It's okay
though. But I remember all of us like in that joint dying.
Yeah.
And Asha was like, okay. Like, it's just not, she just doesn't. But she'll watch she's literally watched America's Funny Home Videos and be sitting on their couch looking at them white folks slip and fall and be dying. I'd be like, okay. Girl. So those are so we have like different senses of humor.
Yeah.
But we'll tell each other a joke or something and be laughing. We have inside jokes. We know how to like make each other laugh. And so I think as long as there's a commonality of how joy can exist, I think there can be difference. But I think there has to be, for me, like, I would be bored if only thing we got to talk about is like the kids and work and current events. Yeah. Like let's talk about Nene Leagues and laugh. Like let's you know what I'm saying? Let's like my birthday dinner. My good friend Jason. Not a lot of dinner etiquette skills.
No.
Right? And we both was like, why they both eating that broccoli like that? Like, but that's our, you know what I'm saying? The whole, all of us who know and love Jason, but still like,
we love Jason.
Moments though, to where you can just like find it and laugh and, so I think humor and joy is a critical component of a successful relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know that people say that your spouse has to be your best friend. I don't fully agree or disagree with that.
Right.
But I do think you do need to be like the very closest of friends in order for a portion. Because again, when you're angry with each other, when your kids get grown, what's left? Like when you go on vacation, can you enjoy this person outside of sex?
Yeah.
Right?
I was just about to say that. Yeah. I was going to question, like, do you think that humor and the intimacy of the laughter or the inside jokes is just as important or maybe more important than sex. What do you think?
Bro, because at some point sex is gonna fade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
what happens when we 75?
yeah,
Right? Or what happens when, my wife gave birth to children,
yeah,
right? There was seasons when she couldn't
yeah, yeah,
medically.
yeah, yeah,
No matter how children come in the picture, Brian, you've been open about y'all adoption.
yeah.
Children change the dynamic of the house
I mean,
regardless,
change.
right?
Yeah,
So not just from a physical body standpoint of women, but just becoming a mother in general. So
yeah,
sometimes you don't even have sex or as
yeah.
often as you had it in the previous context. So
Correct.
so you got to have something left is what I'm saying.
Right.
And again, that has to be more than managing the house and all the other stuff. Some of that needs to, like, if you go on a date night, what y'all talking about?
Yeah.
Can you people watch and roast people? Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Can you laugh at whatever? Like, that kind of stuff has to be important because otherwise it's miserable.
It is. You got to be able to call them on speakerphone. Like, hey, listen, girl, guess what happened?
Yes.
Like, you got to have those moments of, and you in church and you see something to be
And
like,
you just look at each other.
I feel like those moments are important.
Yeah.
And even when there are moments when in using Gina and Martin as the context, like there are moments where things are be tense in your relationship, and there can be serious matters, and trying to find you ain't gonna be horny in some serious matters,
Oh no.
right? You
I don't
not.
want to have sex. I'm mad.
Yeah, I'm mad,
Or I'm
but
depressed or whatever the emotion is, right?
yeah, but if you can find a moment to like find the light or the funny, this ain't funny, but I'd rather laugh than cry. I think those moments are important. Were there moments I feel like where Martin went too far and was
Oh, for sure.
immature in
For
moments,
sure.
but I do feel like that their ability to laugh is and find humor in the relationship. I feel like is one of the things we talk about their toxicity, but their ability to laugh and find funny moments and to roast people, even roasting Pam and Tommy together.
Yes. Ball-headed lies. Ball-headed lies.
I feel like that was something.
But to your point, just to add on real quick, like I think out of all the things we could say about the immaturity, the toxicity, like their friendship is something to be admired.
Yeah.
How they cared about each other from a human perspective is something to really be admired. And I think it served as an example within their friend group as well. Like, because they were the nucleus. Like Pam and then Tommy and Cole came together because they dated.
Yeah.
This wasn't a living single, you know what I'm saying, situation or a even a insecure situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, where the friend group kind of naturally evolved. In a sense, or even using the wife show that stole from Living Single Friends, right? Like they eventually started dating, but that was already a formed friendship that developed over years. This was solely because Martin met Gina. Because remember in that first episode, it was almost as if Tommy and Cole hadn't even met Pam for real yet, because they were so like, who is that type of
who is that?
situation. So yeah, but I think their friendship and the dynamics. Let me throw one at you.
Yeah.
How important is it for your partner to be cool with or be adopted by your friends?
Extremely important. I think that's extremely important. I think you say it all the time. Relationships and friendships are relationships.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't be with somebody who couldn't like hang out and enjoy my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like I just couldn't. I just that's a deal breaker for me. Is so say something ever happens to the woman of God, right? For worse, I'm gonna say this: our wives, get along. And you're my best friend. Chris is my best friend. My wife gets along with your wives. My wife gets along with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, God forbid anything ever happens to the woman of God, and I like find another woman of God, like she would have to be somebody who could like get along with my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like because those are important relationships to me. So, and those are lasting relationships, and especially when we have situations where like y'all are like my brothers. It's kind of like it's family. You know what I mean? At that point, it's kind of like family. Um, so even dealing with that, like I would have to have somebody to who can kind of hang out. So to me, I think it's utmost important. And in this show, um, you see the evolution of their friends combining to where then Tommy and Pam became,
I think.
thing. And Martin, and even though Martin and Pam, talk trash, they were friends. You know what I'm saying? And over the length of the show, you kind of found out that
They had each other back.
they had each other back. They were friends, but they was going to talk trash about each other. But it was like, we know in Black culture, you could talk trash about somebody, but you love them.
Because you remember when Gina bougie friend, the Arthur person came.
Mm-hmm.
When she had the fake hair and it was like exposed her on the show.
Yeah.
But she tried to come for Pam, and Mom was like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, like,
and they bound together to get the ghetto girl up out of there. Yeah,
yeah.
like,
What you're not gonna do? Like, I can talk about her because that's my family. But what we not gonna do is
because he even went to Pam for the engagement ring. Like he knew where to go. You know what I'm saying? Like
he knew that Pam was the gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we be truth be told, like he knew Pam was the gatekeeper. And although they had their,
and she supported their relationship. She threw shade a lot. But
all the time.
Was like, girl, you love him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all these different, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, you said that. So in the show, in times of disagreement, in times of them being at odds with each other, how do you feel Cole and Tommy did when it came to Martin as far as holding him accountable or giving advice? And how do you feel that Pam did in terms of, holding Gina accountable and giving advice? How do you feel that they did as far as friends in supporting or even tearing down their relationship?
Sure. So I think in this part of the episode, the Negroes probably gonna be mad at us, but I really feel like Pam didn't always do the best job because I think she allowed her. While I do agree that they were friends, I do think she allowed her disdain sometimes to get in the way of her advice.
Yeah.
But I think she always after she got all of her shadiness out, she always came back around to, girl, talk to him. Girl, do this. Girl, think through. Like, it was always kind of that support. Even if I don't care for it. And I don't even think it was not care for it because she thought Martin was a bad person for her. I think it was just because of their dynamic.
Yeah.
But she always came around. Tommy and Cole always gave the very immature, typical, response. Now, I will say there were some times that Tommy really held Martin's feet to the fire.
Yeah.
And was like, listen, bro, you wrong. You need to think through this and
go get your woman kind of.
Go get your woman. And even the episode when Martin found out Gina made more than him, I remember Tommy being in the background was like, don't ask that. You don't like. He was basically saying you don't want to know that. You don't want to do, because he knew, like, as much as we joke about Tommy not having a job, the illusion of it is that he also had a corporate job.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, bro, you don't want to know that. You don't want. And he knew his friend enough to know you ain't gonna be able to handle this information. So I think while sometimes Tommy was very much so the get the draws type of dude, like very much that dude, there were a lot of times I will say I think they both did a good job of holding them accountable. Martin was just really immature. Sometimes he didn't want to hear it. So he'll put him out. He'll, do whatever he want to do. But I think Cole was the one. As in the end, it was covered up as like stupidity.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, he was the one that was like, if she want to leave, let her leave. Like he was more so that friend. Versus Tommy was more so like, nah, bro, go have that conversation. Go work it out. And then Cole just got stupid. That's another conversation for another day. Yeah. But in the beginning, he was the more of the around the way, like, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Let's go get girls.
Right, let's go get girls.
Let's go to Nipsey's and
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go get Big Shirley and them friends. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The thing about, I want to say something about Ask Him to Pam.
Yeah.
I think Pam's thing was, I know Gina can do better. I don't think she disliked Martin. In her mind, it was like, I know you love the dude. I know you can do better. It's kind of like, I know you can do better than this dude, but I know you love him, so I'm going to support you. But also, like, why are you crying over this dude when you can?
You could be. Yeah, that's true too.
You know what
Because
I'm saying?
wherever Gina went to college, which we never were completely clear,
Mm-hmm.
it could have been Pam one of them things like, what the dude that we dated in undergrad?
Yeah, like,
Like, what happened? Or what is
yeah,
the archetype of that dude? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
or you to go find Mart and fall in love with Mart.
Him, and I think that's what more Pam's thing was like. Like, what do you see in this? Like, I think over time she realized, what she saw in him, but it was also like,
He's
what do
short.
you see in
He
this?
don't make
He's
a lot of
short.
money. He ain't,
He got a
wasn't
bad
like buff. He wasn't
attitude.
like, yeah, he was like, yeah.
It's like,
I get it.
so but even within that, she was supportive with, and I feel like that's a good friend though. It's like you may not necessarily agree with the person, but he wasn't Martin. In this, I'm not trying to make the goal or the line low. He wasn't beating on her, right? He wasn't like There were some toxic things, but it wasn't the level of it wasn't like abusive. Let me say that.
He wasn't.
Uh, he did some things that I was kind of like, bro.
Yeah, 'cause I'm trying to think about like what is an example of just like a bad dude. But but I get what you're saying. Like we're not like not beating your woman is like the
That's
lowest
bare
of the
minimum.
low.
That's like
that's not even bare minimum. It's like
that-
what?
like just go.
But I think what you're saying though is like I agree. I get 100. I can't find the words, but I 100% get what you're saying. Like he wasn't her preference for her friend.
Right.
Let me say it. I think that's the way it is. And,
Yeah, he wasn't.
But I think like you said, because here's a good way. Have you ever just off vision met one of your homeboy girls and been like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you may have met an ex who we thought was prettier or whatever, but like once you get to know him, it's like, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's not all about looks, but sometimes it's like, based on what I know about you, what I've experienced with you, this is different.
This is the person?
This is different. This is different. But I get it. But now that I know them, I get it. So yeah, I think you're spot on with that. I think that's very much how, because we don't know how long they were friends. We didn't get that context like we did in Insecure, like college and stuff like that. Yeah. But if they had been friends since first episode, and that depth of friendship which she exposed, then that lets me know she knew about Gina's past.
Yeah. And talking about friends, do you feel like friends can make or break a relationship?
I think it depends on how much you let them in.
Yeah.
I think a good example is The Best Man.
Okay.
Merch.
Okay.
What's his name? Merch.
Yeah, the one that ended up dating a stripper or marrying a stripper.
I think like his initial relationship with
Shelby. Look at me remembering things.
Yeah. I think that was a really good example of, I don't want to say friends interfering, but how because in the end it worked out because she went to school with them too. Yeah. But I think from a relational standpoint, I think the better example now that I'm thinking about it is actually Robin.
Okay.
Like the friendship really impacted their relationship. Because her beef was not only Harper's selfishness and whatever else she accused him of, but it was like, Harper was Nia Long.
No, Jordan was Nia Long.
Harper is Tay
Diggs. Tay Diggs.
I had it right the first time. Yes.
Yeah.
Not only was it just Jordan, but I think remember her best friend became Regina King's character.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't nobody else in their friend group who she leaned on in that way. So I do think in some cases friends can have a strong impact.
Yeah.
How you allow it to impact.
Yeah.
I think it's up to you and how you navigate those spaces. If you're not careful, especially with established friend groups, when you bring somebody in, going back to my good friend Jason, I ain't going to tell all of our business, but he's engaged.
Yeah.
He's bringing this woman into 18 years of friendship.
Yeah.
That's a lot of history. That's a lot of dynamic. Jason has dated some terrible women along the way. We've seen him grow and develop and all these different types of things, right? So, but outside of all of that, knowing his context, you're bringing her into a culture that has changed and evolved over a while. But you know what I'm saying? So like, what if we was like, I don't like her? Like, not to say that he wouldn't marry her, but like, we probably, me and him wouldn't be as close as friends. I mean, and Shelby is great. She's a great woman. I love her for Jason. But I think if we didn't think that, right? Like that would grossly impact the
Yeah.
friend group and the dynamics and all those. So I don't know that friends will necessarily make or break the relationship, but I do think it can change the ecosystem in which the friendship dynamic exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would 100% agree with that. I would 100% agree with that because it's and think about like for instance like Kiana came in after Asher and Lauren, so like it's not just us.
Yeah.
Now it's our wives kind of like who is this? You know what I'm saying? And mind you, my wife and Chris were friends before I was friends with Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's even looking like who's this girl trying to like get with my brother? You know what I'm saying? Like so it's like the external relationship
Even
stuff
when I
can't.
first brought Asher around, we were dating. I was already friends with y'all.
Yeah.
And once y'all realize, oh, he's serious about her,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well,
Okay,
let's get to know. Let's get to know
let's
her.
figure this thing out. You know what I'm saying? So it's all that's important.
Yeah.
But I think also being let's talk from the friend standpoint. Being open to one, the love you have for your friend,
Oh yeah.
um, looking at their potential partner and seeing how they can positively, you know, affect,
Mm-hmm.
your friend.
Mm-hmm.
But then also being selfish and being like, is this person going to be like, you can't hang out with these niggas no more? You know what I'm saying? Like all those things, in my opinion, are important.
You brought up a good point with
Uh,
Chris and Kiana
yes.
because his previous girlfriend,
Oh, which one? The official or the unofficial one?
the differently abled one.
Okay, because there was the unofficial one.
That was one, yeah, the one who needed that Times New Roman on that 72 font size.
Messy. Mm-hmm.
I just try not to say names
Yeah.
on here. Like I don't think she liked us,
No.
at least not for him,
And talked major about us.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can see things clearly because I saw straight through that, right?
And we saw the future. We saw Chris's future, but she
We
couldn't
saw
see
Chris's future, and but I think what upset probably more you than me because when
Yeah.
me and Chris really became friends, they were evolving out of each other.
Yeah.
I tell you all the time. From 07 to 2010, me and Chris tolerated each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah.
like a long burning candle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't really start experiencing the full nature of that thing until it had to burn for a while, right?
Listen.
Much later. But what I do know, knowing Chris, how I know him, is that the person he was with her wasn't authentically him.
No, not at all.
So I think the disconnect there too was like, this ain't you.
Yeah.
And you also ain't you when you around her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that can be the interesting dynamic. So now when he got married, Chris was free to be, we all evolve. But at his core, he was free to be himself with Kiana.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing too. Like, I expect my friends to evolve and change and some dynamics to shift, right? Because you're in a marriage. Well, when you begin to change at your core who you are, to your point, we can't even go kick it. We can't even go up the street and, get some wings.
Right.
Go to a little Taco Tuesday. Like,
listen,
a guy's trip. You know what I'm saying? For some people,
that wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so anyway, I definitely think like you don't marry your spouse for your friends, but I do think when you think about the future, the same way they say you marry that family for your in-laws, you marry us. Cause we come
it's
with
package.
This.
It's a package deal. Yeah, because we've already been thinking about raising our families and stuff like that to be with each other. So you bring in this person who is like, nah. So then at that point, it's kind of like you in some way you gotta choose.
You do, and I don't think you choose a spouse based on your friends, but I do think it is important to try your best to make sure that they gel and at least connect. I think that because again, I'm not opposed to new friends, but I'm way too old to be starting over. Like, you know what I'm saying? For just because you don't like them, like, you know what I'm saying? Or you want me to, I don't know what the dynamic is, but I don't want to start over anything petty. Like we genuinely fell out. You know what I'm saying? Because you disrespected my girlfriend, wife, whatever. That's one thing. But if you were the Shelby type in a best man, like
nah. All right. You said something about evolution.
Yes,
And considering that was 30 years ago.
the show. Yeah.
Yeah, show. Gender roles,
Ooh.
which interestingly were a little different because again, Gina was the working woman and stuff like that.
Jenny did really good.
She didn't really cook because that was the issue because Martin's mama was the cook and Gina didn't cook. Uh, so what do the gender roles look like? How have things evolved from the early 90s? And now imagine Gina and Martin with social media. What do you think
Oh God.
that transition look like? Or what do you think Martin and Gina would look like in 2024 with social media?
What's so interesting, Brian, is that I think all of our like so in the 90s, 80s, early 2000s even, I think traditional gender roles were a thing,
Yeah.
right? But what is so interesting, if you really think back on all of our top sitcoms, none of those women leaned into those hard like that.
Mm-mm.
I think the closest example we have, of course, is Florida Evans,
Yeah.
and then Harriet Winslow.
Yeah.
Say what you want to say about Family Matters, but she was still a career woman. But
Yeah,
you
she still
saw,
worked.
but you saw
Yeah.
her cook,
Yeah.
but you didn't see her like busting her hands doing laundry and cleaning the house. She was just the cook of the family.
Yeah.
But outside of it, like Claire Huxtable, like she made it very
Attorney.
clear to Elvin a
Yeah.
lot of time. You know what I'm saying? Specifically,
We are
like this is an
partners.
equal partnership.
Mhm.
We saw Heathcliff cook, and we saw
Yeah.
her cook. Living single, even when Sinclair got married, she was more focused on her acting career.
Mhm. You see more career
Um,
women
you saw more
partnerships.
career partnerships, even
Yeah.
in those times, right? Even Whitley, when she lost her job, we saw her cooking more, but she was still, and I think that was probably more the where Wayne wanted that.
Yeah.
Dwayne,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he wanted that, but Whitley was like, nah,
I want to.
you know what I'm saying? But like, so anyway, it was interesting. So it's hard to kind of say where Gina and Martin would be today or reflecting on the evolution because I don't think TV gave us, outside of the few examples I just gave, real like those clear examples of gender roles. I
Yeah.
think they were implied but not visually realized. Because
Mhm.
even light skin of Viv, the one who didn't work, she wasn't cooking and cleaning.
No, she
Right?
wasn't
They
doing
had a
nothing.
whole butler. Number
Yeah.
one,
And the first one, she was a whole
a
attorney,
whole
professor, not a
yeah,
friend,
she was a whole
professor.
professor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, the other thing though is that while Martin clowned Gina for not cooking, I think it was one of the things to where like you don't cook, but that ain't why I'm with you. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah,
So
because they was definitely yeah.
interestingly enough, right? It wasn't, and again, we saw Gina. Like, I think it was a few episodes we saw them like tidying up. But first of all, their apartment wasn't ever nasty. You know, so I don't think
Yeah.
the show ever gave us opportunity in some
Yeah.
regards. Even if we come earlier in the Today of Things, one of the most recent shows, Blackish.
Mhm.
Rainbow Johnson went around. Like Rainbow cooked, and they
Yeah.
joked about her cooking sometimes
Yeah.
too. But like we didn't
Doctor.
see it. Like I think Girlfriends, maybe with Maya,
Mhm.
the most traditional gender role. But as they evolved as a couple, divorced, got
Yeah.
back together, they evolved into more of a partnership model too. So I think television has always, whether it was intentional or not, kind of showed us that gender roles are
Are kind
whatever
of
you want them to be.
yeah.
I also grew up in the house where my mom did all of the cooking, but my dad does to this day does all of the laundry.
Mhm.
And as a family, I didn't ever see my mom bust her back cleaning because she made us she
Right,
made
y'all the
us
cleaners.
clean. And in the
Mhm.
today of things, my mom does clean, but my dad ain't no trifling dude. He
Mhm.
picks up behind himself. He'll make the bed. Like these are stuff I see. And my dad not only does laundry, he folds it, puts it
Yeah.
up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I never saw like these strong. My mom ain't never took out no trash.
Mhm.
I know that much. Because when he went there, I was there.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that's a gender role per se of it's just kind of more traditional thinking. But I've
Mhm.
seen my mama pump her own gas, not in my dad's presence.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
And when I was younger, she would do it. And when I got older, I always did it for her. But like, I don't know. Like I grew up with even my grandmother. My grandmother
Yeah.
is 98, only had 2 children. Why
Mhm.
over her age, right? I've always seen personally gender roles that were out of the box. So when you talk about the evolution of Martin, I think it's aligned with my lived experience. I think it's
Yeah.
aligned with what we pretty much saw on TV. And then today, I think with social media, I think Martin would be the character. Martin would be crazy.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
think he would be a big influencer,
Yeah.
depending, or maybe not. Maybe he would be like maybe he would be like Arsenio Hall. Like had his moment when he
Mhm.
finally made it, and because nighttime shows and daytime shows, unless you Oprah them,
Yeah.
they weren't forever.
Yeah.
So I
No.
would be interested to see. We know where Gina might be,
Oh yeah.
CEO of
CEO.
Starbucks or something
Yeah.
at this point. Mart,
Um.
I don't know.
So other than the humor, and I think I have my answer. We're gonna wrap this up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Other than the humor and the intimacy, what is one takeaway that you would say from their relationship that you admired?
one thing from their relationship,
Yeah.
other than the humor,
Yeah.
from their relationship,
Yeah. 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 I have one.
I don't know that I have any other. Well, let me hear yours because I can't think of one.
My only thing is, maybe to a fault, Gina always supported Martin.
Mm.
Even though she was, I'm not saying better, but clearly came from a different background, had more of a thriving career. She always supported Martin, like in terms of like,
Yeah.
you can do this.
You can make it.
You can be. She looked at the potential of Martin and was kind of like, you can, like, I'm here. I support you. She held the nigga accountable all the time, like in terms of like, you ain't about to do blah 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 blah. But it was always like, if you want to do the radio station, you want to follow another career, do that. You want to go
She was
run the
always
spoons,
there.
she was there.
When they
You want to
bought
go,
the haunted house.
she supported him. You want to go to Hollywood and proceed. She supported him. And kind of goes to, I hate this term, like submission, like, biblical submission and support and submission to me. Like, even though he wasn't the smartest person, didn't always have the, his vision was interesting. And she clearly made way more than him and doing better. She always was like, this is my man.
My man.
I'm gonna support him. When she could have been like, nah, like, but I feel like he supported her too, but not as to the
Not
level.
as much.
No.
Yeah.
That was what I was trying to find a takeaway because it was hard.
I don't totally
hard to
disagree
find it.
with it.
Yeah.
I think my only thing is that I just be tired of women falling in love with potential.
Yeah.
And that was another thing with and again, like, you love what I'm not here to question what you love and like, but I think at some point, sometimes that support comes to a fault. Like, at what point do we support our partner, but then also be like, this is dumb?
Like,
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you bought that house, this is dumb.
This is a dumb idea.
This is dumb.
Yeah.
Like the restaurant thing. I think both of them was just kind of naive of what it would take to run a restaurant.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the support of his vision and dream.
Yeah.
Even going to LA, like, I think she told him, like, I don't know, but she did it anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that. Like, but I think to me, yeah, Gina did the but I'll give Martin a little credit in the show because like I said, even though he tried to negotiate her salary because of the dynamic, but he was like, nah, if I got to go down here and get your job back, I'll go down here and do it. You know what I'm saying? So some of the rationale behind that was skewed.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was like, I'm going to get you what you need. And the silliness came in, he started asking for personal stuff. But like, she need weekends off. She needs to, like, no overtime. No, like, so it was not only getting her what she wanted, but also protecting everything. That speaks to an intentional partner.
Yeah.
Everything she had been complaining about.
Yeah.
Right. He was intentional about getting those demands met for her because he knew that was important.
Yeah. What y'all not gonna do is y'all not gonna keep,
right,
because she has come home to me, and I'm having to deal with and pick up these pieces.
And while I'm coming to y'all out of frustration, because I want to go back to, I want to get out this house because cabin fever is a thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if she come back, this is how she has to come back.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, like, I think there was levels of support that I could admire and appreciate.
Yeah. But other than that,
it was a bumpy road.
It was
a bumpy road. But Martin was a great show. As we close out, Brian, what are your thoughts about just really quickly the reimagining of the show as a dramedy?
I like it. I think it's a great idea.
You think it's gonna be a hit like Bel Air?
I think it has a potential to be a hit like Bel Air.
Okay.
Because it's nostalgia, and I think if they do it how Bel Air has been doing it, Bel Air is its own show, but it's also the same show. Like, they're giving us the things that we need, but they're also pulling out. You
finished it, right?
No, you know me.
Okay, because I was finna say something about this season finale, but I ain't gonna say it now.
No, hopefully we finish it pretty soon. But they put certain lines and
Yeah.
Easter eggs in there that
Yeah.
give us the nostalgia, but also it's its own show. They use the framework of the original show, but it's still its own show, right? Which I really appreciate, and it's relevant. So I feel like a Martin 2024 or 2025, whatever they do it, I think it can be relevant. It can be impactful. It will give us a different, especially if they do it from the vantage point of Pam trying to find love and stuff like that, and reimagining Gina and Martin's relationship, all that kind of stuff, as well as a 2024 version of their relationship.
Is Pam gonna be the AR executive? Or is she gonna still be in marketing and PR?
I hope she is. I just hope she's successful. I just hope that she is like what she was on the show. She's a successful businesswoman, and because that's in 2020, like that's usually the argument these days. Is I can't find a man that's on my level. Right?
But I hope they don't lean into that trope like she becomes the bitter black,
like I can't
lonely,
find
desperate, F these dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or having to settle.
Right. And I hope her pursuit of love is out of her desire to be loved and not this social construct that women without marriage is like you're stained if you're not in a relationship, right?
I think one great parallel that's my Molly from Insecure.
Molly after therapy though.
Yeah.
Because Molly was very much that girl I just described.
Yeah.
Searching high and low for a dude. Just trying to find something. But it wasn't until she met Asian Bae where I think she started getting more root and she started taking therapy seriously. So if we can pick Pam up at that attitude, yes.
Yeah.
Because Molly still desired a relationship.
Yeah.
But she navigated it so much differently after those moments.
Yeah, it was I'm trying to find a husband. No, I'm trying to find a partner or a person I love.
And I'm also and then it shifted from I'm also not thirsty for it either.
Yeah.
Like when she met Sterling K. Brown character. So and then even the Jay Dinner. So you want to leave a toothbrush? You want to be here? You were like, she was like all over the place.
Yeah.
And when she got with Asian Bae and beyond, she was much more go with the flow. Let's see how this develops. Let's see how this grows. And I'm successful.
Holding herself accountable.
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That kind of I want if that's what we see the journey with Pam, I'm with it. If it's her scratching and surviving to get a man,
nah.
I ain't gotta see that.
Nah. Okay.
I ain't gotta see that.
All right, well, it was a great conversation. Listeners, let us know how you feel about Martin and Gina. Let us know how you think about a potential rebooting of the show. We would love to hear that information.
So, based on the 3 love letter episodes we've done Insecure, we've done Dwayne and Whitley, and now we've done them. How would you rank them in terms of couple goals?
I think Lawrence and Issa is number 1 because they were together.
Or healthy relationships.
I feel like Issa and Lawrence is number and first healthy because they realized that they weren't what they should be for each other. Okay. Left, got themselves together, and potentially gave it another shot and realized even then I'm coming back with my non-negotiables. I'm coming back with my baggage. We're talking about it. We're communicating about it.
My stepmama.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so they came back, but they came back together with they came back better. Yeah. Let me say that. Came back better, more mature, emotionally mature, financially mature. They came back as a better person.
Yeah.
Dwayne and Whitley.
I will go them two, number 2 as well.
Yeah. Even though they had some weird relationship dynamics, I feel like they're much better than Pam and Gina, not Gina and Martin.
And for me, and we can end it. And I love that we can just add to this list and rearrange it as we do more of these.
Yeah.
But the reason why Dwayne and Whitley bumps up only because it's not an excuse, but they were legit college students. Yeah. They got married right after they graduated.
Yeah.
I remember I got married right after.
Yeah. So
22, you know what I'm saying? Like you're navigating the world. Like you're literally, you know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of that. Now Dwayne has some things, and I stand on everything I said about that. Go find that episode. It was with our did we do a guest for that one? I know we had our girls with sufficiently black for the East and Lawrence.
I don't remember.
But the Dwayne and Willie episode, go back and listen to that joint. Yeah. And you'll hear why we feel the way we feel. But I agree with that ranking 100%. 100%.
Okay. Pockets of Joy that we doing now?
Pockets of Joy.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Let's do it.
You couldn't do it. You bring me down. Couldn't do it. You could never ever bring me down. couldn't do it then, couldn't.
All right, puzzle pieces, thank you for sticking around. This is the place and space where we talk about pockets of joy, things that we've done, we're doing, or planning on doing to bring us intentional joy. So Josh, what have you done? What are you planning on doing or doing to bring you intentional joy?
Yeah, so I'm traveling for work, and I'm going to. I said I was going to stop saying where I'm going on this podcast. Not that people are stalking me, but because people are crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm going out of town.
Yeah.
If you follow me on social media, you'll eventually see. But
Mm-hmm.
and I have friends, associates in this city.
Yeah.
So I don't plan on being like outside.
Mm-hmm.
But I do plan on, like, you know what I'm saying, catching up with some folks, doing coffee, all that different kind of stuff. And to me, connecting with people you haven't connected with, like college friends. I do have a college buddy, Morehouse friend, who's there, and I think we're doing coffee because my day doesn't start till like 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do coffee that morning. So like those kind of things to me are life giving.
Yeah.
When you can just catch up and connect, and
Yeah.
it's just genuine community.
Yeah.
So that'll be that, and then yeah, embracing the fall weather. I love the fall. So one part of self-care for me eventually will be transitioning into these cardigans and light jackets and buying new sweaters and crew necks. And I saw this beautiful kind of cropped butterfly and flower sweater from PacSun. You know, I'm a flower child.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing came across. I was like, oh, it's giving real hippie, but it's giving real Josh Rogers. So I can't wait to add to the fall and winter collection like that. That really brings me joy. That's my favorite fashion season too, is fall.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Same.
How about you?
I think it might be in the same city you're supposed to be in.
Okay.
And I have a line brother that's there.
Okay.
So
let me know if you end up coming, because one of my American Express cohort members is there, and they let me know about this event that's happened, this kind of influencer event that's happening Friday.
Yeah.
And maybe we can all roll up.
Yeah, that'd be dope. We come back Saturday, or
I come back Saturday morning. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm supposed to be actually working on Saturday morning. We'll figure it out though. So intentional joy. Meet up with my line brother. And that's pretty much it, man. I'm trying to do a little more resting. But that's it. Take care of my family. And that's it.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah.
Do we have a letter this week?
We don't.
Okay.
Ronnie Jenkins, he took the week off.
Everybody needs a vacation sometimes.
Everybody.
All right. Yeah. Greater conversation?
Yeah, clearly you said you had 3. So I think most of them, or some of them, were the ones I already had in my heart. So
okay, because you've been leaving me out here to be the angry black man.
We can tag team. We all right.
Okay. All right, let's get into it.
All right.
Let me talk. Let me talk.
All right, we're here at a Greater Conversation. This is a place and space where we get some things off of our chest. I say it every week. Tomorrow is not promised. Cuss the people out today. We going back to D'Angelo, and he said, normally I'm gonna hit it solo or not a menage a trois, whatever. This time we're gonna tag team this this Greater Conversation.
What a segue!
There's
a segue, Brian.
There are some things that you said earlier that was on my heart that I wanted to talk about. So you can set it up, and then I'll just add my 2 cents in commentary to what you said, because those are already on my heart.
Come here, Demeter Joe.
Oh,
let's start with you. First of all, before I get into Demeter Joe, well, I don't, because D.L. Hughley made me mad about Demeter Joe, while Demeter Joe made me mad about Kamala Harris. That thing is layered. But somebody asked Janet Jackson, for whatever reason, thought it was a good idea to ask her about her politics. And in that conversation, sis basically said, somehow it came up there where she white, or her daddy white. And it's like, and I'm just like, not you with the biracial children and one of the most biracial, interracial families that exist, right?
Right.
And you're not having a good understanding of biracial identity, and then leading into a conspiracy about, it is a documented fact that Kamala's daddy is a Negro Jamaican.
Yeah.
So it's just like, girl, what? And then she doubled down on what I heard he was white. And no, it's been like,
you
like, I'm not going to disrespect Janet Jackson, but how ignorant is it for you to be the icon that you are, and to fall into, this is almost like it's almost Kid Cudi level earth flatter, like flat earth believers. Like, just because it's out there don't mean that it's believable. And Janet Google is too accessible
Yeah.
for you to double down on that in an interview, girl.
Yeah.
An interview, girl, and you like legit. Now you trying to back. Now Janet ain't gonna get canceled or anything like that. But like, that's like for a fellow black woman too. It's like,
Yeah.
dang.
It's funny that I think D.L. Hughley said something like, "How's she gonna say that when she got a white nose?" Or
That's what I'm saying. Now, that's what I'm saying. Now, DL, that wasn't necessary.
Ooh, it was
That
funny
wasn't
though.
necessary.
And then your brother white. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
It wasn't necessary.
like, yeah, I feel like, to me, like, I'm not saying it's excusable, but sometimes when you think about somebody like Janet Jackson, I low-key expect her to would have a dumb take like that.
I was expecting to have a dumb take, not that one.
Because I think Jermaine Dupri had a dumb take like that. And
I don't expect anything less out of Jermaine Dupri.
And they were in a relationship for many years.
Well,
so explain some things.
Birds of a feather.
Listen, caw. Yeah, I feel like Angel Reese did a wonderful job in the Acting About Politics. She said, "Listen, I'm young, I'm learning, I'm trying to figure some things out, but go out there and vote." That should be the answer.
Caitlin Clark had a decent response. They asked her. I remember in the press conference, Caitlin said something very similar. She said, I'm figuring this thing out. I think people should have the choice to decide. Like, just
get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote.
Stop answering questions. Just stop.
And I bring up Caitlin because if this young pressured white woman, say what you want to say about Caitlin, but this pressure to be, they pressure her to be a MAGA supporter, or they pressure her to shut up and just play. If she can even be like, whatever, Janet, with all this wisdom and age, baby.
Yeah.
Because even I heard Barack was somebody asked him specifically, how should people vote?
Oh, yeah.
I saw that man said, I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but I am going to tell you is that you should vote.
Yeah.
And we all know he's endorsed. He's already endorsed Kamala, but he's also wise enough to be like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Just make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Like, and if you get your information right, then to me, the choice is clear.
No brainer.
But still.
So that's why my little take on Demita. You had
James and Fuhad.
Yes. Hung themselves. Got played.
This is what happens when you decide to go to the other side of town.
Yeah.
And you ain't supposed to be over there. And when you get invited to these white spaces that are not only unsafe, but you don't make them brave by standing out. So not only did you sit there and backpedal until about fight or flight, what I saw, because I watched it again, that wasn't fight or flight. You were comfortable.
Yeah.
Them jokes, them laughs were
real.
Ha 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 ha.
From your belly.
Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. He put laughter in my soul.
Yeah.
Them laughs came from a deep place.
Yeah.
And so there was no fight or flight. Because if you was ready to, I know what an awkward laugh looks like. So let's start there. So you let the jokes fly. But then Andrew Schultz, being the prick that he is, takes your apology in 20 minutes of his podcast and dissects your apology line by line.
Yep.
In comparison to, he also had on screen the moment you were on his show and saying that they was laughing, they was this and here's the kicker.
Yeah.
He said them, James and Puha, and the producers had an opportunity to take things out of the show. Matter of fact, requested for things to be
certain things to be taken out
of the show because they said that was too far. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. And Andrew Schultz like, you know what they left though? We saw.
Yeah.
So that means as contentious and nasty and racist and bigoted and misogynistic as Andrew is, and I'll stand on all those things, what they did do respected what you didn't want in that show. At the very least, what was asked to be taken out was taken out. But y'all left that in because you didn't really see a problem with that.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. You didn't see a problem with that. Your apology was reactive to your audience, not because you genuinely feel bad. Because if you genuinely felt bad, you would have pulled it out from the beginning.
Mhm.
Here's the other gag. Your apology was posted on your backup account and not your main account with the 8 million followers.
Mm.
So it is further like, what are we doing here, y'all?
Yeah.
And I don't want to drag y'all because again, I grew to appreciate you, but it's making it hard. You know what I'm saying? To really support what you're doing. And then I heard, Brian, they've now deleted over 100 episodes
Yeah.
from the past because people started to find other moments. Because I heard there was a previous episode that is now deleted. And please fact check me if I'm wrong, but I heard this on another podcast who was talking about it, where I think he was having sex with a white woman, and somehow the conversation came up and said, "Do you wish she was black?" or blah blah blah. And his response was, "Well, if she was black, we would have been having sex."
Oh.
So those are the kind of comments they said in the past,
Oh.
which double downs on the fact that, and I get it, people have been giving them the excuses about, black men, particularly biracial black men in British culture and blah, 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 blah. You can culturally like what you like or lean into whatever that means that you lean into without disrespecting a community of people. And I think that's the balance that has to be struck, right? I can't see myself ever preferring a white woman over nobody. That's just not what's going to happen. Don't mean that there aren't attractive white women out there, but anytime you ask me my choice, my preference, my whatever, it's a black woman all day, every day.
Yeah.
At the very least, a woman of color.
Yeah.
But if I did date a white woman, married to a white woman, there's no space. There's no space I'm going to be in, Brian, where I'm going to disrespect black women because of my affinity for white women.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to happen.
No.
And I think it's where we are. So like y'all can joke about it, y'all can kind of skate past it, but you're like that again, here's my word, that dissonance is loud. It's loud. And you let that white man play in your face, and he did it. You played stupid games and you got a stupid prize. We gotta stop being complicit in white, like when they show you who they are, come here, Maya Angelou, believe them. Why, like that man played you. Man does not care. He laughed at your apology, dissected it, and then spilled that tea on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. I agree.
Stupid.
Yeah. Because you, like, they're not your friends, bro. They gonna protect themselves.
Friends. They not like us.
Yeah. They gonna protect themselves. They're gonna protect themselves. Because
even though Andrew didn't care about being dragged, he wasn't about to be dragged without pulling receipts. And he did it.
Yeah. What you're not about to do is blame me. You know what I'm saying?
That's what he said. You never.
Yeah,
I'll stand on my stuff, but you ain't gonna blame me for it.
You ain't gonna blame me. I'm not gonna be. You're gonna try to hold me accountable. Y'all. To me, the kicker was y'all asked for other things to be taken out of the show.
And you left.
What kept this? After that, I was like, oh, mic drop.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Listen, it is what it is.
Last thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is okay to enjoy pumpkin spice.
Oh.
It is not okay to be pumpkin spicy.
Mm-mm.
Y'all been nasty smelling from May to July. And I know summer left in terms of like the actual season.
Yeah.
But the girl is still in the room with us. Okay. Because it's been hot. It's been hot outside.
It has been.
As we go into the fall time, if your hygiene won top tier in the summer, this is not a chance to be laxed.
Mm-mm.
Wash yourself head to toe. That includes your feet.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Kelsey brothers talking about, and this is again white people. He was like, "You really wash your feet, dude? You do not wash your feet." And they was like, "Bro, every shower,
yeah.
If I have to lean to the wall, I'm putting my foot up. Yeah. I'm getting in between my toes.
Yeah,
and I'm washing the top, bottom, and sides of my foot.
Yeah,
both of them.
Yeah.
So white people in their cleanliness is just something different. But y'all, wash your bodies. Use deodorant, even if it's the aluminum-free joints. Use it and reapply. Get you an oil.
Yeah.
Get you some cologne, a body spray, a body butter.
Yeah.
Like, wash your face, scrape your tongue, brush your teeth, use mouthwash, floss.
Yeah.
Clean inside your ear, wash your belly button. Right behind, brother. When the last time you cleaned behind your ear?
Listen.
Do that.
Yeah.
Trim them nose hairs. I'm sick of talking to y'all and they flying up out of there talking to me back. Keep your hygiene together.
Yeah.
We too grown for to be having these conversations. Change your drawers daily.
Yeah.
Like, put on new socks.
Yeah. Buy some new socks. Buy some new drawers. All
Buy
those
some
things.
new drawers.
You shouldn't be wearing
If
the
you
same
had
drawers
them
you've worn
since
for
you was
years.
18,
Yeah.
and that Ralph Lauren horse ain't even galloping no more,
Nigga.
it ain't even Ralph no more.
It ain't Ralph.
It went from Ralph Lauren to Beverly Hills Polo Club Association.
Yuck.
And you ain't even got to get expensive draws. But just get you some clean hands.
Yeah, fresh.
Fresh Fruit of the Looms.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. It's been another episode of The Jigsaw.
Another episode of the Jigsaw Podcast. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for
appreciate it.
enjoying.
Yeah.
Shout out again, our boy Nigel, for blessing us last week. Great episode.
Wonderful
Great game.
episode.
I actually played around with my son Jaden. He was interested in what it was. And he chose Moment for Life by Nicki Minaj as his song based on the scenario. The scenario was, what would you do if you found out your friend was pregnant and you had to rush him to the hospital? Jaden said, "Which there I could have this." I said, you want that moment for life? But it was so interesting to see his perspective around that as a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
But I also don't think he knew the other songs in the pack.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, shout out to Nigel in the game. It's already been fun. I can't wait to play with some grown folk and really have fun with it. It's cool. That's gonna be fun.
Definitely. Looking forward to it. All right. So I guess that's the wrap up. Continue to like us, subscribe, share, all the things. Follow us on all the platforms. Interact with us. Thank you, Chris, for all the things that you do. Follow us, the Jigsaw Podcast. Email askthejigsaw@gmail.com. Follow Josh. I'm Josh Rogers. I'm Brian Hare. We're on every platform. Like, subscribe. We're on YouTube now, ladies and gentlemen. So please go out there and subscribe. Get those subscribers up. And I think that is it. Before we head out, Josh, let the people know what they need to do.
All you can do is what you can, while you can, the best ways that you can. But in all of your doing, please don't get caught with your work undone. Love y'all. Talk to y'all next week.
Peace.